Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. This is G. Parker Artworks, and today I'm going to do a tulip. It's spring, and tulips are just, actually they're dying, but I took some pictures before they died. And so today we're going to try and do a tulip. I haven't done one this far this year, and so it's, time to get that going. I don't do a lot of sketching, and if you've seen my channel, you know that. So I'm going to be kind of just doing some wet. I'm going to do it kind of in a yellow because the tops of the tulip, it's a bright orange tulip with gorgeous yellow top on it. And so I'm going to try a technique I haven't really done with tulips before, and we're going to see how it goes. I'm using my big dagger brush because it has such a cool end on it for flowers. So that's what we're doing today. And so I've gotten it wet. I'm going to do some of the tops here, and I like doing wet on wet because I like how the paint bleeds kind of down into the paper, and it's just, I don't know, I just love the way it works with the wet on wet. So we're going to do yellow across the top and on the inside. And I'm going to bring it down a little bit. And then we're going to get some of the orange. And I'm using my little notepad. It's 4x6, and it's the one sold by Hobby Lobby, Master's Touch brand, and so it's not glued down on all the sides. So we'll see how it works with the wet on wet. And I'm going to get a little darker here at the bottom. I think I need to go up a little bit. I might not like how this goes. I might decide that I want to do a different way of doing the tulips, but I thought we'd try it and see. Get some on the inside here. It's a little darker than I wanted, not quite the orange that we were looking for. So we need to add a little bit more of that. I'm going to lift the paper a little bit because it's all going to one spot. sure I like that. It's kind of looking abstract, isn't it? Not what we were looking for. So this might not be working like I was hoping it would. But that's why you do experiments, because you learn from those things. Okay, I kind of dabbed some of the color off of there, and it's still so wet. I understand now why some artists use blow dryer. So while that dries, I'm actually going to do a tulip on another sheet, and we're going to do the old school, so to speak, how I would prefer, or how I've done it in the past, I guess. And we'll do kind of a two-tone brush stroke. With the dagger brush. And while it does do some of the wet on wet look, it's not the same because I haven't wet the paper in advance. It's just where the paint was wet that it kind of bleeds a little bit together that way. Okay, now I'm going to kind of in the middle, kind of push that around a little bit. See how that goes. This brush is bigger on one side, as you can see, and it makes it a little different when you're trying to do. I'd almost go with another brush. But anyway, a little bit more depth of color in there. And take some out here in the middle because I want it to look a little bit more like a petal. In the middle, all these petals kind of blend around. And this brush just holds the water a little bit more than I like. I'm going to add some dark down here. The one thing about this paper is it does tend to be a little splotchy, if that's a word, for paint. But I am going to get a different brush for the stem. I'm going to get my rounded one as we work on this stem while the other one is still drying. Getting closer. And this is see if we can't get some texture to this leaf and the stem. A little yellow in here, it'll lighten it up a bit right there. I think that's too much. Oops. Oh, that probably made you sick. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of getting back into the swing of painting again. It's been a few weeks and I can tell. Okay. Another leaf back here. And we're going to put a little ladybug in there because that's what I do. I do the ladybug, especially if it's a flower. We'll put a little ladybug down here. Okay, now we're going to let this one dry for a minute and go back to see if we can salvage this. Okay. It is mostly dry. So I'm going to see if I can do a little overpainting with it. I'm going to do some more yellow up at the top. So you always do your lighter colors first. If you are really confident in what you're doing. You want to make sure that those colors are, because then they can bleed into the other ones later and it just adds part of the layers thing. Okay, now we're going to do some of the orange. Still got a little too much in there water wise. I don't like that one over there either. Okay, and we're going to do some more over here. And you'll also find doing watercolor that a little goes a long way sometimes. So, depends on the effect you're looking for. Because sometimes if you're trying to do a soft color, definitely a little bit goes a long way. If you're trying to do something really bright, then you can do a deeper color. Well, still not quite what I was looking for. Today is one of those days when it's like, you know what? It is what it is. And so we're going to add the stem on this one. And a leaf. Since we're doing the wet on this one, we're adding some more of the wet on that. And do some more of the wet on this one. Darker at the bottom there. Give it some depth. Yeah. I don't know that you can see much of a difference between the two. And if I decide to go ahead and post this, then you'll be seeing it. But now I need to let both of them dry for just a minute. Okay, they're not quite dry all the way, but I'm adding some little touches so that it looks a little bit more like a flower and not a blob sitting here. So I'm using a fine brush and seeing if I can salvage this a little bit. You never know sometimes what will work and what won't. And well, I mean, I never do. I always am trying experiments to see if this is going to work, if that's going to work. Still learning, and I hope everybody's still learning their craft. But I'm adding some orange to the middle, and then again to the outside a little bit, so we have a little bit of definition of the petal and the inside petals. That's still wet on that inside. So helps a little bit. This one, we'll see. I don't know if this one's salvageable or not, but we will endeavor. Pull it up from the bottom so it's the, you know, like the veins in the petals. And that's why the fine ones are nice, because you can get those little fine lines going up. Okay, I'm gonna go side a little bit. And we're going to start adding a little bit on the inside. Let's see if we can't give some definition in here. And obviously we've given up on trying to be subtle with this one, because is what it is. So there's some inside color in that. Let's see if we can get over here and some of the shades in here. And this is another little layer of petal in here. And one more over here. Let's see if I can get this one to work. Tulips have been like my ongoing must learn how to get these to look right. And I can work with them with acrylics much better. See, that one actually is kind of pulling out a little bit. You can kind of see it. This one is still kind of, it was too wet. So it's still bled a little bit in there more than it was supposed to. So, yeah, I don't know about that one either. Okay, they finally dried. And we're going to do my outlining that I like to do. So we're going to take the pen and here's a little ladybug. Okay, so I don't know. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't, but pretty much that's how I do my watercolors and some of my acrylic. I like to do outlining. I guess I want to make sure nobody thinks I'm trying to make this look like a real, I mean, I'd love to make it look realistic. That's just not been my forte or abilities, so to speak. So anyway, there's that one. And I have to say, this is not my favorite version of tulip. So, And let's see if we can salvage this one. There's a reason that you practice things and do things often, because if you don't, you'd end up losing that skill. And it's, if you want to keep doing it, you have to keep practicing it. So when you're sick, out of the picture for a minute, it just makes it frustrating. So anyway, we're gonna go along with this one. Let's see if we can't get a little bit of, I like some of the way the color went on this one better. I'm not sure that I'm getting the ink on the petals. This pen is a little thicker than I usually like to use because the other one died. So anyway, there's that one. I think I like it a little bit better, but neither one of them are what I'd say was my best work. So I don't know, let me know what you think, if there's any difference in them. This one was more of the wet on wet, and this one was the dry to start with, and then I went over both of them with kind of drier paint afterwards. So they're kind of a mix of both things. But anyway, if you had fun today, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already done that. That would be great. It really helps my channel. And come back and visit me next time. Hopefully I'll have something a little bit more exciting for you. Thanks again, and have a great day.